Right now at 6, several people still missing after that explosion at a fireworks warehouse, and anguish and frustration are boiling over for their families.
And you guys aren't focused well enough on the people in there. When there's families sick to their stomach, losing sleep, being able to eat, drink water because of you guys not responding how one should.
Tonight, we're hearing from a teenager who hasn't heard from her boyfriend after his first day at work there. Then a pedestrian safety advocate who's been warning of the dangers at San Francisco's newest park says she fell victim to the very thing she was worried about.
I would never go up there. I'm disabled. I would be a sitting duck, and it's too dangerous.
It's chaos out there, and there's no rules or regulations.
Plus, why a Bay Area volunteer known for helping clean up some of Oakland's dirtiest streets for years is deciding to call it quits. And we're live at Levi Stadium ahead of tonight's big Gold Cup matchup between Honduras and Mexico.
This is CBS News Bay Area with Juliette Goodrich.
Good evening. Tonight, CAL FIRE says 7 people still unaccounted for after that massive explosion at a fireworks warehouse in Yolo County. That blast also forced several Bay Area cities to re-examine their plans for fireworks shows on the 4th of July. That's what it sounded like for people living nearby, the explosion sending huge plumes of black smoke and debris up into the air. And this is what it looked like from above. You can see the moment the warehouse comes apart, sending shrapnel flying, even sparking a few brush fires in that area. And while the investigation into what caused all this is going to take some time, loved ones of those still missing tell reporter Kayla Moeller that law enforcement isn't doing enough.
Focusing on, we were here since yesterday and have yet to receive any information.
The family members of 3 out of the 7 people believed to be missing after an explosion at a fireworks facility Tuesday in Esparto are speaking up.
And I'm just praying to God that they're alive, that maybe they just need medical attention, that, maybe they're stuck, maybe they're stranded without able to communicate for help.
She's worried her boyfriend and his 2 brothers might be stuck under debris or shrapnel from the explosions. But due to the circumstances, first responders are using drones to assess the area. They say it's too risky to get close right now.
An incident like this is like a once in a career type of incident, and in the reality, there's nothing that we could have gotten close enough to. The risk is too high at a facility like this.
You should have brought that situation up first, the 7 unaccounted for, the people who were stuck in the warehouse. That should have been the first piece of information that you have released.
Loved ones pushed back at the press conference after there wasn't any specifics mentioned about the 7 people unaccounted for.
That you guys are more worried about the civilians and the materials and the people moving in and re-energizing the houses or whatever the situation may be, but you guys aren't worried about the possible dead bodies, the possible
that's a big concern of
people
us. We want to get to the bottom of this.
So how common are explosions like these, and who's responsible for preventing them? CBS News California's Julie Watts investigates.
Fireworks like those responsible for yesterday's explosion, they're regulated by both the state fire marshal and the Federal Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, and Firearms, or ATF. Now, ATF is the one that investigates explosions like these. You may remember this one. The LAPD detonated some fireworks back in 2021, leading to widespread damage, and the ATF came in and performed the investigation. They produced this detailed 51-page report. We obtained this redacted copy. Now, the reports include witness statements, photos, still images from nearby surveillance cameras, diagrams. Something similar to this is what we can expect following yesterday's warehouse explosion. However, based on past timelines and past ATF investigations, I can tell you it'll likely be a couple more months before we see anything complete and released from the ATF related to this latest explosion. And speaking of which, CBS News California analyzed federal explosion data that was reported to the bomb arson tracking system. And we found fireworks were responsible for more than 50% of all explosions reported to the ATF over the last 5 years where there was a known cause.
And stay up to date with the latest on this investigation and fallout right here on CBS News Bay Area, as well as the CBS News app and KPIX.com. The incident is causing the city of San Jose to reevaluate plans for its fireworks show at Lake Cunningham on Friday. Mayor Matt Mahan says the fireworks show for that were housed in the warehouse in Yolo County that exploded. He says that they are looking for alternatives, but the celebration will go on.
There's going to be a great party, a lot of fun things to do, a very family-friendly, free, open event for the public here at Lake Cunningham.
In addition to the Lake Cunningham fireworks show, the fireworks show in Cloverdale, put on by the Lions Club, has been canceled. San Francisco's fireworks show is scheduled to go on as normal, but that's not the only event in the city for the 4th of July. There will also be a 4th of July parade at the new Sunset Dunes Park. It was formerly known as the Great Highway. And the parade kicks off on Noriega Street at noon, then makes its way down to Irving before wrapping up at 2 p.m. San Francisco Supervisor Joel Engardio spoke with us about what they expect on Friday.
It's going to be a fun event. We have 2 marching bands, and we have lots of people in decorated bikes and floats and wagons and bouncy houses and apple pie, face painting and bubbles, and a fire truck for the kids.
Engardio says events like these aim to build community among San Francisco residents. He led the effort to transform part of the Great Highway into Sunset Dunes, but some people who live near the new park say they don't feel safe using the walkways. This after a woman was injured by a cyclist while she was walking. Amanda Heheart spoke to people who live in the area and one who witnessed the aftermath of the accident.
Now she is on the ground.
Stephen Gorski says he was concerned when he heard the commotion Tuesday morning outside his home.
What happened to us, I heard a bunch of sirens. I said, God, that sounds like it's close.
He walked out and took these photos to document what happened. A woman who was walking on the highway turned park, Sunset Dunes, was struck by a bicyclist. Gorski says the woman's husband was emotional and frightened, but police expect her to make a full recovery. The situation adds to Gorski's growing concern about safety in the area since voters supported shutting down the Great Highway to cars in favor of more outdoor space.
It's chaos out there, and there's no rules or regulations.
Patricia Arak lives across the street from the park, but she doesn't feel safe using it.
I would never go up there. I'm disabled. I would be a sitting duck, and it's too dangerous.
In April, Friends of Sunset Dunes, in partnership with Parks and Rec, added a lane system to try and make things safer. You can see a snail and the word slow indicating an area for walkers. Alternatively, there's also a shared lane with a snail and a duck on a skateboard indicating faster movement. But she says cyclists aren't abiding by it.
The bike riders are riding on all 4 lanes every day of the week, and it's created a dangerous situation, particularly for disabled and elderly people.
She's also a co-chair of the Mayor's Disability Council. She says she confronted Parks and Rec about the area, telling them it's dangerous back at a meeting on May 16th, and asked them to do something about it.
It's simple. Make it safe for people. Put up signage. Enforce the rule.
Supervisor for the area, Joel Engardio, says for the most part, he's received positive feedback about the new park, but agrees that more can be done to make lanes clearer and keep people safer.
Well, I've called on Rec and Park to address this issue because it's really important that we make people aware of where the bikes should be, where people should be. I mean, it's a shared space. Like it's a park. It's not a thoroughfare. It's not for fast bike racing or anything by those means. It's a shared space for people to enjoy and stroll.
And he has a message for cyclists or anyone moving quickly in the meantime.
Be aware that there are seniors, there are children, that all types of people are enjoying the space, so let's be respectful.
But for now, Gorski still feels trapped in his home because of the risks.
Can't do anything. You're stuck.
That was Amanda Heheart. Okay, right now, soccer fans are pouring into Levi Stadium ahead of the Gold Cup match between Mexico and Honduras. The game starts in less than 30 minutes. Andrea Nakano is out at Levi Stadium for us tonight. She's been talking to fans before the kickoff. Hey there, Andrea. How's it going out there?
Hi, Juliet. How are you? Levi Stadium is absolutely packed, and so are the roads leading into this area for the Mexico and Honduras match, which is supposed to be a sellout crowd tonight. Just take a look behind me. You can see there is still a line of cars just trying to get into the parking lot. It is a very festive atmosphere here with vendors selling flags and kits as soon as we stopped at the light on the highway off-ramp. A lot of loud music blaring from cars with people proudly displaying their flags, and there seems to be a very heavy Team Mexico crowd here tonight. Leading up to this soccer match, there have been concerns of ICE agents being deployed here to conduct raids. It's been a concern since ICE agents attempted to get into Dodger Stadium last month. This afternoon, the Santa Clara County Rapid Response Network posted on its Instagram page that it is looking into rumors of possible ICE activity here at Levi Stadium. So far, those are just rumors. We have seen a large number of law enforcement officers here, but this is typical of any 49ers game day. Right now, the fans are just focused on the match that's coming up, and they are hoping to watch some good soccer tonight. Juliet, back to you.
That's right. That's all we want. All right, Andrea, thanks so much. And still ahead here at 6 o'clock, we'll introduce you to an Oakland volunteer who's calling it quits after a crusade to clean up the city's trash problem.
I enjoy volunteering in Oakland, but there's got to be a better way. I can't help the community if the city also doesn't pull its weight.
And things take a turn for the worse after a lifeguard leaps into the ocean to save a swimmer, how he ended up needing to be rescued himself. Illegal dumping has long been a problem in Oakland. City leaders have tried for years to tackle the problem. They've had varying degrees of success, but still no definitive solution. That's why Andy Wong decided to take on the problem himself. A longtime volunteer who's widely known as Peng Weather on Reddit gained a big following on social media for cleaning up trouble spots around the town, only to find them trashed again a few days later or even hours later. That's why he told our Kara St. Cyr he's had enough.
This trash pickup could be Andy Wong's last. He's a computer scientist turned social media sensation that cleans up litter in his spare time.
I've spent my own money on supplies, on gas, even spent my own money from time to time on, dumping fees.
But by his calculations, most of the 50 Oakland lots he's cleaned just end up dirty again, like this one on 67th and Foothill.
Not gonna lie, it's a little disappointing. I understand if it gets a little bit retrashed. I mean, that's just how Mother Nature works in a way. But to see it fully trashed up again, it's a bit sad.
That fact makes him question, why even bother? So he decided he won't.
I enjoy volunteering in Oakland, but, there's got to be a better way.
Wong announced on Reddit that he won't be cleaning any more lots in Oakland.
I can't help the community if the city also doesn't pull its weight.
Wong is open to dialogue with Oakland officials, telling them what he'd like to see done before he continues cleaning up streets. First, he says he'd like to see the city crack down on illegal dumping, which is what he sees as the root of the issue.
Typically, with trash like this, it looks residential.
The city does have a hotline for illegal dumping. The Department of Public Works has already responded to thousands of complaints this year. But Wong says the enforcement isn't strong enough. Now he says he won't touch a trash bag again if he doesn't see a change.
I have good feelings, especially after my conversation with District 2 and my upcoming conversations with District 1. I think, they've been willing to listen to me.
While Wong won't clean for a while, he's at least optimistic that maybe his work won't go to waste.
After a brief period of clearing, the fog is rolling back out over San Francisco. Today brought temperatures, well, a typical July variation, 50s, 60s, 70s, 80s, and 90s. A 44-degree difference between the coast and farther inland. We're going to narrow that gap a little bit as we head towards 4th of July. We'll take a look at that in the fireworks forecast coming up.
A rescue mission for a lifeguard in Southern California took a startling turn when he got tangled in his own rescue line. It happened at Seal Beach in Orange County. Now, video from the incident shows the lifeguard leaping into action only to be yanked back when his orange buoy got caught on the pier. He hit the beam and dangled on the side of the pier until he was able to free himself and continue with his mission.
Yeah, I thought like he got hurt or something, but he was completely fine, it looked like.
All right, the lifeguard is okay, thankfully, and he did manage to help the person in distress. This is the second incident involving a lifeguard at Seal Beach in less than a week. Days earlier, another lifeguard injured his spinal cord after hitting his head on the ocean floor. Oh, a reminder to be safe, and obviously when you're around those waters and you're saving someone, make sure that you're safe.
Yeah, it's a dangerous job.
Foremost. It is, and we
Yeah.
thank them for doing that because they've saved so many lives.
Kind of puts our worries about fireworks displays in perspective when you're seeing
Yeah,
them
that could have
saving
a
people's
dangerous
lives.
turn though too,
That
right?
also, yeah, as we have seen.
Wait, we're just a
in other parts of
killjoy
the
right
state.
now.
Yeah, let's take a look at the forecast for the 4th of July as I struggle to find my words here. And we are going to start with a view of Futurecast, one of the forecast models as of 10 p.m. on Friday. And it shows a lot of gray on the map. Now, this forecast model tends to combine both low-level fog and clouds in the lowest levels of the atmosphere that have their base a little ways off the ground. So this isn't maybe quite as dire as you might think. And for proof of that, let's take a look at the Golden Gate Bridge where the fog is rolling in, but you can still see most of the towers of the Golden Gate Bridge. As the weather pattern shifts a little bit, the weight of the atmosphere on top of us is going to decrease over the next couple of days. That allows the marine layer to get deeper, but it also lifts the base of the clouds just a little bit. So the top of the towers of the Golden Gate Bridge is about 750 feet, and you can see the tops of those towers, the Golden Gate, which means the base of the clouds is that level or maybe a little bit higher. Most fireworks burst below 1,000 feet in elevation. So if that base of the clouds lifts up just a little bit more, then things are looking at least okay for fireworks time around 9:30, 10 o'clock on Friday evening. We'll keep you updated. In the meantime, typical July weather is going to continue. Morning fog, some high clouds farther up in the atmosphere during the afternoons. A continual cooling trend, though, tomorrow and for the 4th of July. Temperatures continuing to back down about 5 to 10 degrees below average for the holiday itself on Friday, but trending warmer once again as we head into next week. Right now, looking outside from a different perspective, lots of sunshine in San Jose, kind of all or nothing in terms of cloud cover at the moment. 57 degrees in San Francisco, but it's still 85 degrees in Concord. That wide variety of temperatures, still 50s, 60s, 70s, and 80s. No 90s at the moment, but we had those earlier today. I think even the 90s are going to be hard to find as we head through most of the day tomorrow. So let's take a look at Futurecast, and we will track that fog as we head through the rest of tonight. Forget about Friday. We'll worry about tonight and tomorrow. And the fog is going to try to spread out inside the bay, but you see it really confined to right along the coast. It's because this forecast model does a better job of kind of sorting out the low-level fog that reduces visibilities as opposed to the clouds that are hanging out in the lowest levels of the atmosphere. So it's likely going to be a gray start to the day for most of the Bay Area, but only a few locations closer to the coast and around the Bay are actually going to have to contend with actual reduced visibilities to begin the day that could impact the Thursday morning commute, likely the last morning commute of the week for a lot of folks. And then temperatures are going to try to warm up, but it's not going to be as warm as the conditions that we have seen over the past couple of days. Let's put some numbers on the map. And in the Santa Clara Valley, we're going to see a mix of 70s and 80s, 76 degrees in San Jose after you climbed up to around 80 degrees today. East of the Oakland Hills, mostly in the 80s as opposed to the 90s that you had today. Around the Bay, still a mix of 60s and 70s, only mid-60s in San Francisco with 70s for Fremont and Redwood City. Upper 50s to near 60 along the coast, and temperatures in the North Bay. There's our hot spot, Healdsburg, all the way up to 90 degrees, but just barely touching 90 degrees by tomorrow afternoon. Dog walking weather for tomorrow. We're actually giving the dogs a day off because apparently the end of the school year also corresponds to an influx of guinea pigs into animal shelters. So Cowboy and Winnie here are looking for a forever home to call their own. If you have room in your home for a little small pet, or you have a smaller home that only has room for a smaller pet, I'm going to put a link up on social media as soon as the weathercast is over. Temperatures in Oakland tomorrow up into the mid-60s during the afternoon. Let's take a look at the 7-day forecast, and we are going to start inland where temperatures are going to climb up into the 80s tomorrow, then top out right around 80 degrees Friday. So a mix of upper 70s and low 80s for the 4th of July. Back to near average temperatures as we head through the rest of the holiday weekend, and then a little bit more of a warm up kicking in a week from today. Those inland temperatures, more of a mix of upper 80s and low 90s by next Wednesday, but it's a little ways down the line. In the short term, we're going to be staying either close to or below normal for high temperatures. Same thing Bayside. A mix of clouds and sunshine will prevail for the next several days, and temperatures at the coast aren't going anywhere, and I don't think the clouds are really going to go anywhere either. Your temperatures are going to hover right around 60 degrees with plenty of that low cloud cover and fog until maybe a little more sunshine peeks through by next Tuesday and Wednesday.
I've had a lot of animals. I have never had guinea pigs.
Well, there's two that are waiting for you.
Winnie
they're there.
and
they're
Cowboy.
They're right behind you.
Giddy up.
Yeah.
Okay. Thanks. All right. When we come back, 88 years after she left Oakland Airport and was never seen again, there's a renewed effort to locate and recover Amelia Earhart's long-lost plane. And here's a look at what's ahead of the CBS Evening News.
They are among the most magnificent creatures in North America, but there are new concerns about their future. What's the threat? More tonight on the CBS Evening News.
Now you can get your KPIX news, weather, and live stream all in one place on the CBS News app. Download it free today.
In 1937, Amelia Earhart departed from the Oakland airport in an attempt to circumnavigate the globe. But after completing 2/3 of the journey, radio transmissions went silent somewhere along the Pacific Ocean. Her disappearance remains one of the greatest mysteries in aviation. But now a Purdue University research team is heading to the Central Pacific to see if a mysterious unidentified object could be the plane that went missing. The university says radio transmissions collected days after her disappearance could link her final location to the island.
No other theory that I'm aware of can put Amelia and Fred Noonan on that island, but I think this one just might do it.
If the team does confirm the object was her plane, they plan to take its remnants back to Purdue University for students to study. Stay tuned. CBS Evening News is next. See you at 7.